Namaste, welcome, and aloha. Today we explore Canto 3 of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, titled The Status Quo, the most expansive and philosophically rich canto in the first half of this great scripture. With 33 chapters and approximately 1,386 verses, Canto 3 takes us on a sweeping journey from the cosmic to the personal, from the origin of the universe to the liberation of the individual soul. Three great sages guide us through this journey: Vidura, the pure devotee, Maitreya, the cosmic philosopher, and Lord Kapila, the avatara who teaches the science of Sankhya to his own mother. Let us begin. Let us now look at the synopsis of Canto 3. Canto 3 opens with Vidura, the great devotee and half brother of Dhritarashtra, who has renounced his home after being insulted by Duryodhana. On pilgrimage, he meets Uddhava at Dwaraka, who recounts the final pastimes of Lord Krishna and the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. Vidura then travels to the Himalayas and meets the sage Maitreya, who answers his profound questions about cosmic creation. Maitreya describes how the universe arose from Garbhodakashai, Vishnu, lying on the cosmic ocean, how Brahma was born from the lotus stem, growing from the Lord's navel, how time is calculated from the smallest atom to the largest cosmic cycle, and how the Lord descended as Varaha the boar incarnation to rescue the earth from the demon Hiranyaksha who had dragged her to the bottom of the cosmic ocean. The second narrative arc introduces Kardama Muni and Devahuti, a story of spiritual marriage, mystical powers, and ultimate renunciation. Swayambhuva Manu brings his daughter Devahuti to the forest sage Kardama, who has been performing austerities for 10,000 years, awaiting a wife. After their marriage, Kardama uses his yogic powers to create a magnificent aerial palace for Devahuti's pleasure. 9 daughters are born. Then, fulfilling his promise, Kardama renounces home and enters the forest, but not before the Lord himself appears as their 10th child, Lord Kapila. The third and most philosophically profound arc presents Lord Kapila's teachings to his mother Devahuti, chapters 25-33. Devahuti, now alone after Kardama's departure, approaches her divine son with the most fundamental question: how does the soul become entangled in matter, and how can it be freed? Lord Kapila's answer constitutes the complete science of Sankhya philosophy, the 24 elements of material nature, the three modes gunas, the process of devotional yoga, the consequences of material attachment, and the ultimate path to liberation through pure devotional service. At the end of his teachings, Devahuti achieves liberation, and the place of her liberation, the Bindu Saravara lake, becomes a sacred pilgrimage site. Now let us look at the key themes. The primary themes of Canto 3 are among the most profound in Vedic literature. The first theme is the power of remembrance of Krishna. Uddhava's account of the Lord's final pastimes demonstrates that even the departure of the Lord is filled with transcendental beauty and instruction. The second theme is the science of cosmic creation, how the Lord creates through Brahma, how time operates from the smallest atom to the largest cosmic cycle, and how the universe is structured in layers of material elements. The story of Jaya and Vijaya, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, cursed for offending the four Kumaras, introduces the profound teaching that even a momentary offense to a Vaishnav can precipitate soul's fall from the highest spiritual platform. The Varaha Lila demonstrates the Lord's unconditional love for the earth and his willingness to descend in any form to protect his devotees. The story of Kardama and Devahuti presents the ideal of spiritual marriage, a union dedicated to spiritual advancement rather than mere sense gratification. Most significantly, Lord Kapila's Sankhya teachings, chapters 25-33, constitute one of the most comprehensive philosophical treatises in the Bhagavatam. The analysis of the 24 material elements, the three modes of nature, the process of devotional yoga, the consequences of material attachment, and the ultimate path to liberation through pure devotional service. The famous verse Canto 3, chapter 25, verse 25, describes the qualities of a sadhu: tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities, expert in scripture, and fixed in devotion to the Lord. And the equally famous verse, Canto 3, chapter 25, verse 21, promises: by regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead is established as an irrevocable fact. Now let us look at modern scientific parallel. Canto three's philosophical and cosmological content resonates deeply with modern science across multiple disciplines. Lord Kapila's Sankhya philosophy, which analyzes reality into 24 material elements, from the unmanifest Prakriti through the Matattva, Ahankara, the five Tanmatras, the five gross elements, the 10 senses, and the mind, parallels the modern standard model of particle physics, which similarly identifies fundamental fields and forces underlying all observable matter. Both systems seek to identify the irreducible building blocks of reality. The Bhagavatam's description of time calculation from the atom in chapter 11, beginning with the Paramanu as the smallest unit and building through progressively larger units to cosmic cycles of billions of years, anticipates modern physics understanding of time at quantum and cosmological scales. The smallest unit of Vedic time, Paramanu, corresponds remarkably to the Planck time of modern physics. The description of Kardama's aerial vehicle, a celestial craft containing entire cities, forests, and lakes, resonates with modern concepts of advanced aerospace and space habitation. Most profoundly, Lord Kapila's teaching that consciousness Purusa is distinct from matter Prakriti, and that the soul suffering arises from false identification with matter, parallels the hard problem of consciousness in modern neuroscience. The recognition that subjective experience cannot be fully explained by material processes alone. Scientists such as David Chalmers, Roger Penrose, and Stuart Hameroff have all argued that consciousness cannot be reduced to neural activity, echoing Kapila's ancient insight. The Jaya Vijaya story parallels modern psychology's understanding of how pride and offense disrupt even the most elevated relationships, and how the consequences of harmful actions ripple across time, what modern psychology calls moral injury, and what the Bhagavatam calls Vaishnava Aparar. Now, let us look at some practical application. Canto 3 offers transformative practical guidance for every stage of life. The opening chapters teach the power of spiritual pilgrimage and association. Vidura's journey demonstrates that leaving toxic environments and seeking the company of realized souls is not escapism but the highest wisdom. When Duryodhana insulted Vidura, Vidura did not retaliate, he simply left. This is the model of a devotee. non reaction to insult, combined with decisive action to seek better association. The Jaya Vijaya story provides an urgent warning about Vaishnava Aparada offending devotees of the Lord. Even the most spiritually advanced souls can fall when they offend sincere seekers. This teaches us to cultivate humility and respect for all who are sincerely seeking God, regardless of their apparent level. In practical terms, be careful with your words, especially toward those who are spiritually sincere. The story of Kardama and Devahuti offers a model for spiritually centered relationships, a marriage in which both partners support each other's spiritual growth, in which material comfort is enjoyed without attachment, and in which the ultimate goal is renunciation and liberation. Lord Kapila's teachings provide the most practical instruction. Associate with devotees, hear about the Lord's pastimes, chant his names, and gradually the heart will be purified of material desires. The qualities of a sadhu described in verse Canto 3, chapter 25, verse 25, tolerant, merciful, friendly to all, expert in scripture, fixed in devotion, provide a practical checklist for spiritual character development applicable in any culture or tradition. Ask yourself daily, was I tolerant today? Was I merciful? Was I friendly to all living beings? Now let us look at how this helps for young people. Canto 3 speaks directly to young people's deepest questions about identity, purpose, and the nature of reality. Lord Kapila's Sankhya philosophy offers a rigorous analytical framework for understanding who you are. Not the body, not the mind, not the ego, but the conscious Purusa, the witness behind all experience. In an age when neuroscience, psychology, and philosophy are all grappling with the hard problem of consciousness, Kapila's analysis provides answers that modern science is still searching for. You are not a product of matter, you are consciousness itself, temporarily housed in a material body. The story of Devahuti, a princess who chose a forest sage over a palace king, who endured decades of austerity, and who ultimately achieved liberation, challenges young people to ask, what are you really seeking? Pleasure, comfort, and success are temporary. Liberation is permanent. Devahuti's transformation from a neglected wife to a liberated soul demonstrates that spiritual awakening can happen at any point in life when the sincere question arises. The Jaya Vijaya story is especially relevant for young people navigating social media culture. A single moment of pride or disrespect can have consequences far beyond what we imagine. Cultivate humility, respect every sincere seeker, and choose your associations wisely, for association shapes consciousness, and consciousness determines destiny. Now, let us look at how this helps for the older generation. For the older generation, Canto 3 offers profound wisdom on the themes of renunciation, legacy, and liberation. Kardama Muni's story is a model for the Vanaprastha, the forest dweller stage of life. After fulfilling one's duties as a householder, raising children, contributing to society, supporting one's spouse, the time comes to renounce material attachment and focus entirely on spiritual advancement. Kardama did not abandon Devavati. He first ensured her spiritual well being by providing her with Lord Kapila as her teacher. This is the ideal of responsible renunciation, fulfilling your duties before stepping back. Devahuti's transformation from a queen who had everything materially to a liberated soul who achieved the highest spiritual perfection demonstrates that it is never too late for spiritual awakening. Her sincere question to Lord Kapila, How does the soul become entangled and how can it be freed? Is the most important question any human being can ask at any age. Lord Kapila's description of the consequences of material attachment in chapter 30 provides a sobering but compassionate mirror. The suffering we experience is the result of our own choices. But the remedy is always available: pure devotional service, hearing the Lord's glories, and the association of sincere devotees. The place where Devahuti achieved liberation, the Bindu Saravara lake, became a sacred pilgrimage site, reminding us that a life dedicated to spiritual practice leaves a permanent blessing for all who follow. Now let us look at the Canto 3 structure. Canto 3 consists of 33 chapters with approximately 1,386 verses, organized into four major narrative arcs. Chapters 1 through 11 cover Vidura's pilgrimage and cosmic creation. Chapters 12 through 19 cover creation, Vaikuntha, and the Varaha Leela. Chapters 20 through 24 cover Kardama, Devahuti, and renunciation. Chapters 25 through 33 cover Lord Kapila's Sankhya philosophy. Thank you. Namaste and Mahalo for joining me in this exploration of Canto 3 of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the Status Quo. From Vidura's pilgrimage to Kapila's Sankhya, from the cosmic ocean to the liberation of Devahuti. This canto reveals the complete picture of existence, how the universe arose, how the soul became entangled, and how it can return to its original, eternal, blissful nature through the path of pure devotional service. Thank you, Namaste, and Mahalo.